Good evening. I want to break down for you the simplest way to make money online. If you're someone who is looking to escape their 9 to 5, if you're someone who's just graduated and isn't too thrilled with the options that are available to you now, I believe that remote sales, remote closing is the simplest way to start generating a revenue online in 2026. I think it's been the simplest way for a long time, and I think it will continue into the future. I've been doing this for the last 2 to 3 years. And I think it is the simplicity of that that makes it such a viable option, such a scalable option, and such an approachable option for a lot of people trying to get into the space. I think that simplicity is somewhat deceptive. I think for two reasons. First, I think a lot of people don't realize how profitable this can be because of the simplicity. And second, I think a lot of people actually just don't get how this opportunity can work given that it's so simple. I think a lot of people potentially think it's more complicated than it is and harder to get into than it is in reality. But I want to break this down for you right now, just to dispel any confusion. It is literally this simple. Influencers, people with personal brands, want to sell high ticket products online. That is, products which are expensive. And these can range from anything from info products, courses, mentorship, etc., right the way to marketing deals. They want to sell this stuff online, but at a certain point, they don't want to be the person getting on a sales call or getting into a text message thread to actually make the sale take place. Therefore, people like me, and potentially you, get into that sales conversation. They help solve the problems of the prospect, that is the person trying to buy the high ticket products. And then they facilitate the money changing hands, and then the job is done. And in return for that, the influencer or the person with a personal brand pays us a percentage of what that deal was worth as our commission, and that is what we take home. Wash, rinse, and repeat. It is literally that simple. Influencers, YouTubers, people on Instagram, etc., all they want to do at a certain point in order to scale their business is be the ones taking those videos, posting them online, and potentially delivering the services. They don't want to be the ones actually selling the services. So they will pay you a percentage, a very large percentage, right? Anywhere between 5 and 20%, it's very common, of that sale in order to facilitate it for them. This space is growing massively, and so is the demand for online remote closers. And the opportunity is literally that simple. But I think simplicity is deceptive to some people, as I've already said. But I believe that is why this is such an approachable opportunity, and also why it is such a good opportunity to grow, right? To broaden your horizons, to broaden your business skills, and really sharpen up on that one key fundamental core business skill, which is sales, which has always been around and is pretty much always going to be around again for the future, for the foreseeable at least. Basically, in keeping things very, very simple, what we do is we reduce all of the noise, all of the nonsense around, and we can just focus on a very small number of variables and getting really, really good at the one thing that actually moves the needle. So I've done sales in corporate as well. I've done sales in 9 to 5 capacities. I've done this for tech companies. I've done this for fintech companies in the UK. And I've done it for a number of different crypto companies as well. And in all of those situations, the kind of wrapper of the corporate 9 to 5 life absolutely kills the simplicity of the actual day job, right? The simplicity is pretty much the same in terms of we're getting on sales calls. Sometimes in corporate sales, it's a bit of a longer sales cycle, all right? There's a bit more variability in the product fitment and in the client, and how you might adjust that product to fit the client. Might be a lot more relationship-based selling, right? Building up relationships over long periods of time in order to finally land that sale, and maintaining the relationship after that as well. But ultimately, the sales conversation isn't that different to what we're doing here. But what makes that whole situation more complicated is all of the red tape. It's all of the corporate nonsense, all of the things that we would do in a day that aren't really part of moving the needle, aren't part of moving sales forward. They're just part of what you have to do because you're in a corporate environment. The thing is, as businesses get bigger, yes, they make more money overall, but the profitability actually comes down. And what that means is for you as an individual, you tend to get paid a lot less in these corporate roles than you do working for small, lean internet businesses like influencers, like people with personal brands trying to sell an info product or trying to sell marketing on those brands. So that is, in a nutshell, what the opportunity is, okay? Some internet personality wants to sell a product, but they don't want to sell it themselves. That's where you come in, you sell the product, you get a percentage of that sale. This pool is massively growing. Your job in that role, okay, your day-to-day is very, very simple. It is such a nice way to live because we have cut out all of the corporate nonsense that comes with doing that same thing in a corporate environment. Added benefits include the fact that you can do that remotely from anywhere you want to in the world. You can do that on your schedule, more or less, and you can make a great deal more money than you can in a 9-to-5 position. That is why I think it's such a good opportunity. That is why it's something that I've been pursuing for the last couple of years. Thank you so much for watching. Plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one.